Honourable members, please join me in welcoming the third group of the PL 100 students from the University of the South Pacific who are with us this afternoon. Hope your visit will expand your understanding of how your parliament works and the role it plays in determining and safeguarding our democracy. So we thank you for joining us this afternoon. Honourable members, we will continue with the oral questions laid on the table, and the 8th oral question for today. I will now call on the Honourable Ratu Jose Nyundamu to ask question 8 of 2026.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to ask question number 8 of 2026, listed under my name in today's ordered paper, directed to the Minister for Defence and Veteran Affairs. Can the Minister inform Parliament the new grant assistance under the Japan-Fiji Official Security Assistance, OSA, on enhancing disaster response capabilities? Pinak.
Thank you. I now call on the Minister for Defence and Veteran Affairs, the Honourable Pierre Tugundondoa.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Ratu Jose Nyundamu for his question. Honourable Speaker, Fiji's engagement with Japan under the Lamawata-Kizuna Partnership continues to strengthen our disaster resilience and emergency preparedness, grounded in a relationship of trust and of mutual respect. Honourable Speaker, the Official Security Assistance, or OSA, OSA, is a strategic initiative by Japan to support like-minded countries through the provision of equipment, supplies, and infrastructure to enhance security and response capabilities. Fiji was among the first recipients of this assistance in the Pacific in 2023. With support directed through the Republic of Fiji Military Forces Naval Division. The assistance delivered tangible physical improvements. This included maritime equipment and support assets used in patrol and surveillance operations, upgrades to operational and storage facilities, and communications equipment to improve coordination at sea. These are practical ground-level enhancements that strengthen our ability to protect our maritime domain. Honourable Speaker, the new grant assistance for Japan's fiscal year 2025, signed on 30th March 2026, will further enhance Fiji's disaster response capability through the provision of ambulances, field medical tents, and automated external defibrillators. These are critical assets that will strengthen emergency transportation and frontline medical response during large-scale disasters. Honourable Speaker, I wish to emphasize the importance of direct engagement in securing these outcomes. My recent visit to Japan and my meeting with Defence Minister Shinjiro Koizumi was instrumental in advancing this cooperation. Face-to-face engagement allows Fiji to clearly present its national priorities, particularly the increasing demand placed on our response agencies by climate-related events. It ensures that assistance is not generic, but tailored to our specific operational needs. It also strengthens trust at the highest levels, which is essential in securing timely and meaningful support. Through this engagement, Fiji has positioned itself as an active partner. We are not simply receiving assistance, we are shaping it to ensure it delivers real outcomes for our people. Honourable Speaker, for a small island developing state such as Fiji, disaster preparedness is essential. This support strengthens our national response capability, aligns with our national security strategy, and enhance our ability to contribute to regional humanitarian assistance and disaster relief efforts. On behalf of the government and the people of Fiji, I convey our sincere appreciation to the government and the people of Japan for this continued and meaningful support. And I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
I thank the Honourable Tikundundua, Minister for Defence and Veteran Affairs. Are there any supplementary questions? I don't see any. We'll now move on to the 9th oral question for today. And I now call on the Honourable Vijay Nath to ask question 9 of 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask question 9 of 2026, which is under my name in today's water paper. And my question is to Minister for Public Works, Meteorological Services and Transport. Can the Minister inform Parliament on what is the current level of non-revenue water and how much has it reduced over the last 3 years? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I now call on the Minister for Public Works, Meteorological Services and Transport, the Honourable Ro Filipe Tesoro.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for the question. Current national level of non-revenue water stands at 47%, the highest levels recorded in the Central and Western Divisions. It remains a significant operational challenge for the Water Authority of Fiji, and addressing this issue continues to be a key priority for government. While this remains high, it reflects long-standing structural challenges within the water network, including aging infrastructure, increasing system demand, and historical underinvestment in the asset renewal. Analysis of the national non-revenue water position shows that approximately 82% of total losses are concentrated within our 4 large water networks: Suvarnosuri, Nandilotoka, and Labasa. This clearly indicates that non-revenue water is not uniformly distributed, but heavily concentrated in the country's main urban supply corridors. As such, a targeted approach is necessary and effective. Over the past 3 years, reductions have been incremental, as efforts have focused on stabilizing operations, improving data integrity, and strengthening system controls, establishing the foundation for more impactful interventions. Mr. Speaker, the government has now moved to a more structured and performance-based model. The Water Authority of Fiji has engaged specialists through a performance-based contract, currently focused on the Suvarnosuri system, which is the largest and most critical network. The work involves 1 leak detection, 2 minor repairs, 3 system automation to efficiently detect leaks through various methodologies, change in water pressure or water flows, etc. Number 4, identification of major infrastructure to be replaced, i.e. pipes, in the prioritized critical works program. The timelines will be from year 1 to year 5. We are currently working through year 1 and systematically assessing and budgeting for the critical replacement, especially pipe replacement works. And part of the work is also capacity building, which involves secondment so that the Water Authority of Fiji staff are aware of the methodologies, and also there will be an uptake of technological education, etc., so that we can develop internal capacity once the consultancy is over. Under this program, a reduction of approximately 20% from the established baseline over a 5-year period is targeted within the pilot area. The approach is designed to deliver measurable results, strengthening internal capacity and establish a proven model for broader application. Subject to performance outcomes, this model is intended to be progressively rolled out to the Nandilotoka and Labasa systems, where the majority of national water losses are concentrated in addition to the Suvarnasuri. This ensures that investment and effort are directed where they will have the greatest national impact, supporting improved efficiency, financial sustainability, and service reliability. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
I thank the Honourable Rothi Suau, the Minister for Public Works, Meteorological Services and Transport. Supplementary questions. Honourable Nath, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank Honourable Minister for his answers. Honourable Speaker, in 2022, when we were the other side, and Honourable Minister was sitting where Honourable Kumar is sitting, he normally used to throw this kind of questions. And I would say people living in glass houses should not throw stones. Mr. Speaker, say in 2022, the percentage was 47%. 47. But again, today he's saying it's still 47. That means no improvement has been made. I don't doubt the work of our engineers. I've worked with them. They're very hardworking, but still, they need confirmed direction, Mr. Speaker. We gave them a lot of solutions. There was leakage from aging pipes, illegal connections, meter inaccuracy, building efficiency. Have you corrected any of this which I have mentioned for, Minister? Have you corrected or acted on any of these four things which I have mentioned? That is leakage from the aging pipe, illegal water connections, meter inaccuracy, and billing inefficiency.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, this is the kind of hogwash we are subjected to in every question. Last question was on regulations on LTA. So those regulations are there, publicly available. So I don't think it should be asked here. And for this one, I've already explained the situation. And you had mentioned that it remains the same. No, I don't really just mention the 47%. It's reduced, but incrementally. From the last 3 years, it was 50%. So for us who did foundation mathematics, 50 minus 3 is 47. So it's reduced. It's reduced. So and also honourable member was assistant minister for infrastructure at that time. And I would expect him to at least show some appreciation for the hard work being done currently by the Water Authority of Fiji. And he mentioned I was sitting on the other side. Yeah, he was sitting this side. But if you work hard, after this year, you will be sitting this side. So make sure you work hard, campaign strongly, which is part of the question. Thank you.
I thank the Honourable Minister. Honourable Usmati, you have a supplementary.
Yeah, I think the minister must be instructed to tell the truth. When I left as minister in 2022, the non-revenue water was 47%. 47% minus 0 is 47. That means there's absolutely no change. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's not an easy task. I appreciate the difficulties. I am glad to see that the minister has a plan of a 5-year targeted. Now, I can see that he has mentioned the focus currently is in this area. Is there, what sort of a target to be in that 5 years? Do you have specific targets over the next 5 years? Specifically for the major area that you're targeting, which is this corridor here.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, do you wish to respond?
So thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm not sure because whether to answer or not, because I already mentioned in my response the figure. So I repeat, the target is 20% over the next 5 years. Yes. So we never know. By the time we reach the 20%, I'll be sitting there and you'll be sitting here. So when you take over, make sure it reaches 20%.
Thank you. I thought it was easier, Honourable Minister, to answer Honourable Nath's question, and that was, are you making any efforts? And all you need to say was yes, is that? Anyway, thank you, Honourable Minister. We'll move on to the 10th and our last oral question for today. I will call on the Honorable Naisa Tavua to ask question 10 of 2026.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Question 10, 2026, under my name, sir. The question is directed to the Minister for Rural and Maritime Development and National Disaster Risk Management. Can the Minister update Parliament on the coordination and activation of the Fiji cluster system? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I call on the Minister for Rural and Maritime Development, National Disaster Risk Management, the Honorable Moses Simbulitang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. Honorable Speaker, sir, I thank the Honorable Assistant Minister, the Honorable Naisa Tavua, for the question. Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the most significant reforms introduced under the revised National Disaster Risk Management Act of 2024 is the expansion of Fiji's disaster management framework to address not only natural hazards such as tropical cyclones, flooding, earthquakes, and related events, but also man-made hazards and human-induced emergencies. This now includes complex and emerging threats such as aircraft crashes, industrial accidents, supply chain disruptions, and other crises that may threaten national stability, public welfare, and the community of essential services. Mr. Speaker, sir, this reform is both timely and necessary. It recognizes a simple but critical reality in the sense that modern crises are no longer single sector events, they are system-wide risks. Increasingly, global conflicts, economic shocks, fuel supply disruptions, cyber incidents, and other external events can have direct humanitarian consequences for small and open economies such as Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, the current global fuel situation, driven by the geopolitical tension between the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran, continues to create uncertainty in international oil markets and in the supply of crude oil to countries that depend heavily on imported fuel. For a small, open, and import-dependent economy like Fiji, this presents a direct national risk, particularly in our electricity generation, transport and logistics, maritime connectivity, food distribution system, and essential public services. Government has therefore acted decisively by activating the Fuel and Power Emergency Act of 1974, appointing a fuel controller who is the Permanent Secretary for Public Works, Meteorological Services, Transport, and implementing a fuel emergency action plan. That plan includes provision for fuel management measures, strategic use of national reserves, fuel rationing if required, and the prioritization of fuel to essential sectors so that critical services to the public can continue uninterrupted to the greatest extent possible. Mr. Speaker, sir, fuel is not simply an economic commodity, it is a background of our national system. A disruption in fuel supply and or higher fuel cost may trigger cascading impacts on the following: transport and logistics through increasing bus, taxi, trucks, and shipping costs; energy and utilities through diesel for generators, water pumping station, and backup power; the agriculture sector and food through farm inputs delivery, land preparation, and food transportation; fisheries and maritime transport through both fuel shortage and few fishing trips and maritime travel; industry and businesses through production slowdown and higher operating costs; in the tourism sector through airport transfers, tour, hotel operation, and food supply cost. Mr. Speaker, sir, this higher cost of moving and producing goods, services, food, and essential services will further be cascading down to increasing the retail price of goods and services, slower public service delivery, and slower development project implementation. The economy's wide impact may include inflation, high cost of living, increased unemployment, increasing government subsidies, and possible reduction in foreign reserves. Recognizing these wider humanitarian implications, Cabinet has approved the activation of the Fiji Humanitarian Cluster System to strengthen national preparedness, anticipate the wider impacts of any prolonged disruption, and to support the fuel controller in managing the wider national response. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fiji humanitarian cluster system is a whole of government and whole of society, multi-sectorial and multi-stakeholder coordination platform comprising of 9 clusters. These clusters are led by the relevant government ministries and permanent secretaries and supported by local partners, civil society organizations, faith-based group, development agency, and international partners. Its core function is to ensure that all sectors act in a coordinated, prioritized, and evidence-driven manner on key national priorities such as health, security, education, infrastructure, food security, social protection, and community welfare during times of crisis. Last week, the Ministry of Rural and Maritime Development and National Disaster Risk Management convened all 9 clusters to finalize their cluster contingency plans together with the fuel prioritization framework. These plans are aligned to the 4 stages outlined under the Fuel Emergency Action Plan and clearly identify the actions, responsibilities, and interventions required at each level of escalation. The fuel prioritization framework will assist the fuel controller in ensuring that hospitals, emergency services, utilities, maritime links, transport networks, and other critical sectors receive priority support where necessary. In addition, Mr. Speaker, sir, the clusters will provide weekly situation reports to government so that decisions remain timely, informed, and responsive to challenging conditions on the ground. This will ensure that policy decisions continue to be guided by evidence, real-time assessments, and the needs of our people. Mr. Speaker, sir, this approach reflects government's proactive, responsible, and forward-looking leadership towards crisis management. We remain hopeful that the international tensions will ease and that global oil supply chains will stabilize. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are not waiting for the crisis to worsen before taking action. We are preparing before it escalates. This is the difference between reactive governance and strategic and anticipatory government. Government's priority is clear, Mr. Speaker, sir. We need to protect essential services, safeguard key infrastructure and livelihoods, maintain national stability, and ensure no Fijian is left behind. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji is preparing early, acting responsibility, and standing ready to respond in the national interest through the activation of the Fiji humanitarian cluster system. And government will continue to ensure that the needs of all Fijians are met during this challenging time. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I thank Honorable Mbulitago, Rural and Maritime Development Minister and National Disaster Risk Management. Are there any supplementary questions? I see none. Honorable Member, members, that was the last oral question for today. We'll now move on to the written questions. First written question, I now call on the Honorable Vijay Nath to ask his written question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask question 11 of 2026 under my name to Honorable Minister for Public Works, Meteorological Services and Transport.
Thank you. I will now call on the Minister for Public Works, Meteorological Services and Transport, the Honorable Ro Philippe Thuiswao.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I thank the Honourable Member for the question and I hereby table the written response in accordance with Standing Order 45.3.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The reply is standard under Standing Order 45.3. Thank you. Second written question, I now call on the Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Ineas Ratu, to ask his written question.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, sir. Written question 12 of 2026 is directed to the Honourable Minister for Public Enterprises and Multi-Ethnic Affairs, Culture, Heritage and Arts. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I call on the Minister for Public Enterprises, Multi-Ethnic Affairs, Culture, Heritage and Arts, the Honorable Charan Singh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Say, before I hand over my answer, I'd like to say the leader of opposition to you, Your Highness. You have been chasing me when I was the Minister for Sugar, bombarding left, right, and center. Now I've come into rice. Why? Just give me a bit of time. I will answer to you properly later on. But having said that, Mr. Speaker said the leader of opposition was in Manidevu, where the rice scheme is. He had a lot of chicken curry, a lot of rice, and campaigning. And my colleagues told me, they said, look, you can have all the curries and rice, but no votes. By the way, I'm handing over the answers.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Can you please hand your response to the Secretary General? Thank you very much. The third written question, I now call on the Honorable Premila Kumar to ask a written question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I ask question number 13 of 2026 to the Minister for Health and Medical Services.
Thank you. Call on the Minister for Health and Medical Services, the Honorable Dr. Ratu Antonio Lalambalapu.
Speaker, I table my response.
Response is at hand. Thank you. Can you hand it to Secretary General, please? That is the last of the written questions. All the answers are tabled before Parliament. Honourable members, thank you. The question time for today is now over. We'll move on to the next item on the order paper. Secretary General.
Consideration of bills.
Honourable members, I have been advised that there are no bills for consideration today. Thank you. We will move on to the next item. Secretary General.
Motions for which notice has been given.
Honourable members, we have 3 standing committee reports for debate today. And without further ado, I now call upon the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, the Honourable Ilyas Vanawalu, to move his first motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I move that Parliament debates the review reports on the 2022 Fiji Association of Sports and National Olympic Committees annual reports was tabled on the 27th November 2025.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Honourable Bala, thank you. Seconder. I now invite the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs to speak on his motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, Social Affairs Committee note that Fiji Association of Sport and National Olympic Committees have its affiliation with International Olympic Committees, Commonwealth Games, the Federation of the Pacific Games Committee, and play a pivotal role in sending Team Fiji to the international and regional games. Since 1998, Team Fiji have been participating in Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games, and Pacific Games, and those hosted the regional games. The 38 affiliated National Sporting Federation have attained international exposure and regularly participated in international games with 3 ways funding from the Government of Fiji, National Sporting Federation, and independent partners. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee in its deliberation highlighted the following recommendation. Firstly, Mr. Speaker, sir, FSNOC has continued its affiliation with the 3 international sporting bodies and facilitate the local sports federation with human resources development and capacity building. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that Fiji Sports Commission must monitor the development of athletes through its grassroots development plan and further support FSNOC towards the welfare of all athletes. The committee further recommends that in future, Government of Fiji must support and lobby for international games to be hosted in Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee notes that FSNOC strategic priorities are aligned with the national government priorities and the relevant sustainable development goals. Speaker, sir, Social Affairs Committee looks forward to the successful implementation and commitments to the recommendations put forward by the committee. On that note, sir, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank the Honourable Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs. Honourable members, the floor is now open for debate on the motion. I have a list of speakers with me. By agreement with the whips, each speaker is given 7 minutes only to deliver his or her contribution. I first call on the Honourable Saukuru.
Honourable Speaker, I rise to acknowledge and thank the committee for their dedication in compiling this comprehensive report. Honourable Speaker, I wish to highlight 3 key areas from this report. 1, the support for international and regional events. The committee has acknowledged FESONOC's intention to actively bid for regional games and recommends that the government of Fiji strengthen its support and lobbying efforts to host such events. Fiji has a proud history of hosting the South Pacific Games in Suva in 1963, 1979, and in 2003. However, Honourable Speaker, Fiji was unsuccessful in its recent bid for the 2031 Pacific Games, finishing second to the Kingdom of Tonga. It is important to note that in 2017, the Pacific Games were relocated from Tonga to Apia, Samoa, after Tonga withdrew due to financial concerns. Samoa subsequently hosted the 16th Pacific Games in July 2019. Given this precedent, I respectfully suggest that the President of FESONOC, as Fiji's representative on the Pacific Games Council, to formally engage with the Council to revisit the 2031 hosting decision and explore whether Tonga remains in a position to host the Games. Second, unlocking the potential in sports talent. FESONOC continues to promote institutional sustainability by aligning its work with national sporting development goals. Honourable Speaker, Fiji is blessed with immense raw talent. Events such as the Fiji Secondary Schools Athletics Competition, widely known as the Coca-Cola Games or Fiji Finals, have become one of the largest school athletics competitions in the world and serve as a critical talent pathway. Similarly, the Dean's Trophy, established in 1939, remains Fiji's most prestigious secondary school rugby competition and a proven pipeline to elite international rugby. Yet a recurring question remains, where do these talented young athletes go after school? The 2026 Fiji National Sporting Organization Conference themed Sports, the Engine for Change, addressed this very issue by proposing a structured sports academy framework. This framework aims to bridge grassroots talent identification with elite high-performance systems, supported by professional coaching, medical services, and athlete welfare programs. Central to this vision is the development of a Fiji high-performance support system linking rural talent pathways to a national hub, the Fiji Institute of Sports. Third, unlocking the potential in sports economy. Honourable Speaker, sports is not merely recreation, it is a powerful economic driver. Globally, the sports industry generates approximately $2.3 trillion annually, with projections to reach $3.7 trillion by 2030. Studies have indicated that for every dollar invested in sports, there is a return of up to $20 through economic activity, job creation, and tourism development. Sporting events attract visitors, stimulate local businesses,
and create employment opportunities across multiple sectors, including hospitality, retail, logistics, and media. Furthermore, investment in sports contributes to long-term national savings in healthcare, as Fiji continues to face rising rates of non-communicable diseases. The role of sport and physical activity in prevention cannot be overstated. I take this opportunity to again sincerely to thank the chairman and members of each committee for the report. I also thank the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Fiji Sports Council, Fiji National Sports Commission, and FASADOC for supporting the development of sports in Fiji. Honourable Speaker, investing in sports is investing in our people, our economy, and our future. I commend the committee's report and urge continued collaboration to fully realise the potential of sports in Fiji. I fully support the motion, and may I wish the best teams win the upcoming Coca-Cola Games. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
I thank the Honourable Sokuru. Honourable members, I'm sorry I misinterpreted the whip's agreement. It should read the opposition speakers are given 7 minutes, whilst the government speakers are given only 5 minutes to deliver their contribution. So that is the order of the day. I ask Honourable Fire Square for his 7 minutes.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. I thought we'd swapped and take 5 minutes. Honourable Speaker, in any event, I'll be brief because I think most of the good stuff has actually been mentioned by Honourable Sakuru. And I want to thank the committee for its report. But this is a good opportunity, Honourable Speaker, to focus on something that actually has been, is part of the recommendations that the report, the committee has handed down. One of the recommendations is that government, through the Fijian Fiji Sports Commission, provide funding to FASANOC annually for athletes to participate in regional and international games, hence allocate funds for the preparation costs. And it also recommends that the Fiji Sports Commission to monitor the development of athletes through its grassroots development plan and further support FASANOC towards the welfare of all athletes. Honourable Speaker, as rightfully pointed out by the Honourable Sakuru, what is beyond the Coca-Cola Games? What is beyond the actual Dean's Trophy? What is beyond the football tournaments that actually happens? We are known worldwide for our sporting prowess, Honourable Speaker. But in terms of development, we do lack. We lack a lot. I think out of all the sporting institutions that we have, the most successful has been the Fiji Rugby Union. And I think it's a good example to follow because they have gone on to prove themselves at an international level, and our players are in high demand and big demand all around the world, not just in one particular place. But in terms of development, FASANOC is an institution that has assisted in the development of all sports people. And I'm talking about able sports people, disabled sports people, all of that. On a lighter note, Honourable Speaker, we have in this House two quite well-known athletes this side of the House. One, and I am told that one was a phenomenal sprinter, but he never got to go to that particular level. And I understand also that that phenomenal sprinter could have one day may have been one of our Usain Bolts, Honourable Speaker. That is none other than the leader of opposition, sir. I'm told that the 100 meters was nothing to him, and unfortunately, in the words of the former Prime Minister, sir, he got married, and the only muscle that he exercised was his stomach. On the other hand, we have a long-distance runner sitting here, Right Honourable Hemchand, who I understand still runs. But jokes aside, Honourable Speaker, both these guys were superb athletes who could have gone on to do bigger and better with the skill that they had. And there are many, many athletes and sports people around Fiji that actually look forward to the funding, the assistance that FASANOC gives. So it's something that we probably must look at to say that we give them the wholehearted support to take them to that next level. Sports is a billion-dollar industry. If we do the math, Honourable Speaker, those guys that play rugby offshore send a considerable amount of money back to Fiji, back into our economy. And it's a huge thing. Unfortunately, I know football hasn't gone quite as well as rugby has, but they're well on the way to actually to getting that done, and other sports. We do have the quality. So I think one of the things also is very important that in terms of FESNOC, Honorable Speaker, they actually have a development program, and I think they've got four pillars that they've got with respect to focusing on their athletes and how they prepare them, how they focus on the national federations, and I think we've got 38 different federations that are part of FESNOC. So we must look at it very, very intrinsically to find out where it is that we can help, because we have a jewel. All our citizens here, Honorable Speaker, are very, very, very good at sports. We have a lot of kids at school who just fall by the wayside because they're not nurtured or attended to. It is something that we must look at. It is something that we must continuously support, and I wholeheartedly support what Honorable Sakuru has actually mentioned, and I commend the committee's work, and it's the collaboration also, Honorable Speaker, that needs to exist between the 38 federations that we have, the sporting federations, and FESNOC is important. It must be done in a not a disjointed but a jointed fashion where our athletes benefit. The development, taking part in all these international tournaments, etc., is only good for the development. And all you have to do, honorable members, is ask these two. If they had the opportunity to go and do better, they would have. And I know for a fact, and I'm not joking, that Honorable Seraratu was a phenomenal sprinter and in his time for, unfortunately, it was RKS, but it doesn't matter, sir. But with those few words, I wholeheartedly support the committee's work and the recommendations in it, and I ask that we, at all times, look at FESNOC as an institution. And I also want to take the opportunity to say thank you to Vanessa Kilner, the CEO, who's done a phenomenal job at FESNOC with respect to the, producing this particular report and their development plan with respect to assisting all our athletes and sports people. Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Fayaskoya. I call next on the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister for Civil Aviation and Tourism, the Honourable William Ngabo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise to contribute to the debate on the review report on the 2022 annual report of the Fiji Association of Sports and National Olympic Committee, Parliamentary Paper number 150 of 2025. This report, Mr. Speaker, sir, extends beyond athletic performance. It reflects governance, international representation, and regional positioning. For the Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation, FESNOC's work intersects directly with sports tourism, aviation sustainability, and Fiji's global reputation. Established in 1949 and recognized by the International Olympic Committee in 1955, FESNOC has long served as Fiji's gateway to the Olympic movement, ensuring Team Fiji competes at the Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, Pacific Games, and Pacific Mini Games. Participation at this level elevates Fiji's international profile, placing Fiji before worldwide audiences. Athletic success strengthens national branding and deepens Fiji's presence within global networks. Sport operates not only as competition, but as representation. The governance structure demonstrates institutional stability, representation from 38 national federations, a board of management, specialized commissions, and an athletes commission reflects structured administration centered on athletes' welfare. The emphasis on gender balance at leadership level is significant. Inclusive governance strengthens legitimacy and aligns Fiji with the Olympic movement standards. Strong governance builds confidence, attracts partnership, and sustains development. The 10-year strategic plan, developed in 2022, outlines a framework focused on athlete preparation toward Brisbane 2032, federation capacity building, and operational sustainability, signaling that FESNOC is planning beyond immediate cycles. The intention to expand beyond traditional sporting strengths is equally important. Diversification broadens Fiji's competitive footprints, reduces reliance on a single discipline, and strengthens the national brand across multiple platforms. The report highlights continued efforts to bid for and host regional competitions. Hosting international events generates visitor arrivals, stimulates hotel occupancy, increases transport demand, and supports small and medium enterprises. Sporting events create concentrated travel flows. Athletes, officials, media, and supporters all contribute to visitor numbers with direct implications for aviation sustainability. Event-based travel strengthens route viability and improves load factors on domestic and international services. Sports and tourism are mutually reinforcing sectors. The report acknowledges aging infrastructure as a significant constraint. International federations assess venue standards, transport connectivity, and governance compliance before awarding events. When facilities meet international standards, the pathway to event acquisition becomes realistic and benefits flow directly to host communities. FASANOC's funding model reflects prudent financial management. However, reliance on grants underscores the need for diversified partnerships and operational sustainability. The Speaker, sir, the alignment between sports, tourism, and aviation is a strategic rather than incidental. Sporting success enhances Fiji's global image. Event hosting stimulates visitor flows, supports aviation routes, and strengthens future bids. This cycle reinforces itself through sound governance, infrastructure readiness, and coordinated national planning. When our athletes perform and compete with distinction, the Fiji name travels globally. When Fiji hosts international competitions, our economy benefits. When infrastructure improves, sport and tourism advance together. I commend the report to Parliament. Now, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Ngaboka, and now call on the Honourable Joseph Nunn for his contribution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to contribute to the debate before the House. The Speaker said this report comes at a time when our nation is at crossroads regarding the welfare of our young people. While we often look at FASANOC through the lens of gold medals and the international glory, I want to look it through the lens of common man and rural family. The Speaker my first point concerns the social cost of inactivity. In many decades as a teacher and as someone who spent more time with whistle around my neck rather than a tie around my collar, I have seen a recurring tragedy. When the sports fields in our district fall silent, the street corners become loud. We see our youth, vibrant, talented, and full of energy, getting mixed up in the wrong crowds because they have no structured outlets for their potential. I see in this report that FASANOC has a 10-year strategic plan with a focus on the sports development. This is excellent on paper, but I must ask, is this program actually reaching the settlements and the deeper interiors? We must ensure that the ICE advocacy program is not just a seminar in a city hotel, but a living, breathing presence in the rural communities where the risk of our youth falling into crime and drugs is highest. Sports is the best social shield we have, and are we using it effectively? The Speaker my second point is about the bottom line of the funding. The committee has recommended that the government provide annual funding specifically for athletic preparation. We must ask ourselves, is this the current level of funding actually enough? In my experience on the ground, I have seen coaches and parents digging into their own pocket just to buy a set of boots or pay for a bus to a tournament. If you want our youth to choose the field over the street corner, we must make the field accessible. Mr. Speaker, the report also mentions that Fiji lost the bid for 2031 Pacific Games by mere 2 votes. This is a clear signal. Whilst our facilities are rated low risk, perhaps the consistent investment in the people, the athletes, and the grassroots coaches is lacking. We cannot expect professional results on amateur budget. We need to fund the local clubs that keep our youth occupied every single afternoon, not just a few elite who make the national squad. Just finally, Mr. Speaker, we must look at the unseen scoreboard. FASANOC's success should not just be measured by the medals Team Fiji brings home from the Pacific Games or the Olympics. It must be measured by the reduction in NCDs and decrease in youth aimlessness and increase in national unity. The Speaker I support this motion because of the framework for a stronger Fiji is here in the sport. However, I urge the Ministry and the FASANOC to look beyond the elite level. Let us invest in the coaches who are the real gatekeepers of our youth's future. Let us ensure that every child, regardless of where they live, have a playing equipment in their hand and a mentor by their side. When we invest in sports, we are not just training athletes, we are building citizens. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Honourable Nan for his contribution. Last speaker, I call upon Professor Biman Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the committee for the report. Mr. Speaker, I was sorry to hear that the Honourable Leader of the Opposition didn't make it to being a champion sprinter. But I know in his recent past he was trying to be a cyclone champion. You know, I don't know whether he's abandoned that. Mr. Speaker, the issue of funding, and I know Honourable Nand mentioned that as well. Funding for sports in small island states, developing countries, Mr. Speaker, has always been a challenge. You know, if you look at funding in the developed countries, a lot of sporting bodies are able to fund it themselves. And what I want to say is that we need to look at the different sporting bodies, you know, whether it's Fiji Football Association, whether it's Fiji Rugby Union, and others, and whether the funding model, I know some get more than the others. For example, the Fiji Football Association, you know, football is a big global sport compared to some of the others. So funding is always an issue. In the last 3 years, Mr. Speaker, and I'm sure if the Honourable Minister of Finance was here, he would have talked about it more. But as far as I recall, in the last 3 years, the funding for FASNOC and for international sporting events, Mr. Speaker, has been given through or facilitated by the Commission, and these include support for overseas sporting tours of sports coaches, engagement of sports coaches, sports scholarships, outreach program, hosting international tournaments. Sometimes, you know, there are provisions for short-term experts, etc. But, Mr. Speaker, in the last 3 years, the government has provided funding for through FASNOC for overseas tour grants, and these have been facilitated in some ways and supported the FASNOC to undertake tours in a more involved way. For example, in 2023, 120,000 was allocated for the Commonwealth Youth Games. In 2024, Mr. Speaker, there were diverse sets of grants. I don't know the former Minister for Sports, I'm sure would recall this. But I think a total of more than $1 million, Mr. Speaker, was allocated for covering preparations and participating for the Solomon Pacific Games, the Commonwealth Youth Games, Olympic Games, participation in Paris and boxing preparations, etc. In 2025, the Pacific Mini Games in Palau received about $1.35 million as well. So what I want to point out, Mr. Speaker, I know this has been raised in the past with respect to the level of funding that we can provide to different sporting bodies. But I guess some of the sporting associations, Mr. Speaker, also need to organize themselves better so that we are able to attract, you know, additional funding, sponsorships that can be used to encourage young people to participate in sports. I think the government's focus, Mr. Speaker, ought to be more on building infrastructure. And in the last 3 years, government has provided funding such as sporting facilities, such as grounds, courts. I know the former minister did a good job in making sure that those facilities were upgraded using the funding that was allocated by the government. So I do take Honourable Joseph Nunn's point with respect to funding, but I guess there is a limit to what government can do. Therefore, it's more important to look at how government can support building infrastructure rather than funding the routine activities of sporting associations in the country. With that, a few comments, Mr. Speaker, I support the report that is before us. Thank you.
I thank the Professor Biman Prasad, Honorable Professor Biman Prasad, for his contribution. I will now, that was the last of the speakers. I will now invite the Honorable Manawalu, the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, to speak in reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The committee noted the positive contribution made by the honorable members during this debate periods on the review reports of 2022 Fiji Association of Sports and National Committee annual reports. Mr. Speaker, sir, I take this opportunity to thank the board members, executive management, the staff of Fashion-Oak for their commitments, dedication, unwavering support, which has been instrumental to the successful operation of Fashion-Oak. So I humbly request Fashion-Oak for the successful implementation of the recommendation put forward by the Standing Committee on Social Affairs. I support the motion before the House, and I thank you, sir.
I thank the Honorable Manawalu, the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs. The Parliament will now vote to note the content of the report. Does any member oppose the motion? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Before we move to the second motion on the order paper, I am informed that joining us in the gallery this afternoon is the Honourable Seema Malhotra, Member of Parliament from Westminster, UK Minister for Indo-Pacific and Equalities. Madam, you're most welcome to our legislature. And of course, our very resident British High Commissioner is here with her. Your Excellency, you are most welcome as well. Thank you. All right, we will move on to the next motion for debate, and we will call the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, the Honourable Elias Manawalu, to move his second motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I move that Parliament debates the review reports, the 2019 Tavua Town Council annual reports. It was tabled on the 27th of November, 2025.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion.
Honourable Praveen Bala, seconder. I now invite the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs to speak on his motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the town of Tavua is one of the smallest towns in Fiji. Tavua was declared town on the 27th of April in 1992. The Council of the last 33 years has been striving to improve its services to its ratepayers, business houses, as well as to the visitors of Tavua town. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee in its deliberation highlighted the following recommendation. Firstly, the committee recommends that Tavua Town Council to collaborate with the Ministry of Local Governments and the Ministry of Environment to expedite the full environment impact assessment process to ensure compliance with environmental regulation for the new landfill at Koro number 1. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that the government and the relevant agencies prioritize the sewerage reticulation project for Tavua Town Council to prevent further delays and support its sustainable urban development. Finally, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that the Tavua Town Council, in collaboration with the aligned ministry, to work with the relevant authorities in terms of relocation of the municipal market, bus station, taxi, and carrier stand. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Tavua Town Council faces significant challenges infrastructure, revenue generation, and service delivery. Hence, its immediate government's intervention and legislation support are essential to ensure sustainable urban development and improve quality of life of Tavua's residents. On that note, Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for the opportunity.
I thank the Honourable Chair. I will now invite the members from the floor to debate on the motion. I have a list of speakers with me. This time each speaker is allocated 7 minutes, and at the end of the debate we will give the chair of the committee the right to reply. I first call on Honourable Bala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to briefly contribute to the motion that is before us. Mr. Speaker, sir, what I'm going to say today is the comments that were made before the committee by the officers of the Tavua Town Council. Mr. Speaker, sir, firstly, the serious issue that the Tavua Town Council is currently facing is in regards to the revenue collection. Mr. Speaker, sir, because of this difficulty, the council is unable to carry out any major capital projects, and also they have difficulty in running their day-to-day operations. Mr. Speaker, sir, I suggest that small councils such as Tavua be provided with direct grant for the operation of day-to-day business and also for the capital projects through their line ministries. Mr. Speaker, sir, under the key finding 3.1, Tavua Town Council, as stated, had identified a site for a landfill at Coro number 1. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to urge the Ministry of Environment to assist the Tavua Town Council to carry out the EI process, and also the line ministry, Ministry of Local Government, to provide the required financial assistance for the proposed project. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the moment, Tavua Town Council is using the site at Reki, which is costing the council a huge amount. Mr. Speaker, sir, key finding 3.2, there seems to be a disconnect between Fiji Roads Authority and Tavua Town Council in terms of what Fiji Roads Authority is supposed to carry out, Mr. Speaker, sir. In fact, Mr. Speaker, sir, we were told that Tavua Town Council were not given the priority compared to the larger municipalities. Mr. Speaker, sir, I suggest that this matter be resolved at a ministerial level so that the citizens and the ratepayers are not deprived of the basic services. Mr. Speaker, sir, key finding 3.3. In recent months, there was a Talanua session in Tavua organized by the government, and this matter was raised by the ratepayers and the citizen in regards to the sewage system, and as mentioned by the chair. Mr. Speaker, sir, I hope, I don't want to have any debate on that, I hope that the line minister will update this parliament in future sittings. Mr. Speaker, sir, key finding 3.5. Before some of my good friends from that side and this side will say what I was doing during my time, so let me inform the House that we were able to secure our land right at the back of the current market, Mr. Speaker said, and also had the master plan done. That area you fully recovered. That area, Mr. Speaker said, was also to be reclaimed because of the flooding. And unfortunately, Mr. Speaker said, later my portfolio was changed, and the rest is history. But that was going to solve the problem, Mr. Speaker said. The current market site was also considered to relocate the bus bay and the taxi stand so that no one would have parked on the main road as it is today. Mr. Speaker said, in summary, my concern is that at the moment, councils are facing so much challenges, but we hear that the municipal boundaries are being extended for the people to vote. This is only for the purpose of voting. But let's not forget that by extending the boundary, the service delivery will be in place. And I only hope, that there will be some provision to assist these municipalities to do the service delivery for the ratepayers and citizens of the respective municipalities, Mr. Speaker said. Mr. Speaker said, my request is for the line ministry to assist all small councils with direct grants so that they are able to provide the required services. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Honourable Parvin Bala. I now call on the Minister for Local Government, the Honourable Nalumisa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to support the motion for the August House. Also provide response to the review report of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs of 2019 Tavua Town Council Annual Report. I also would like to acknowledge the Chairman and the committee members for its comprehensive review and also thoughtful and some practical recommendations that are part of this report. And the Ministry of Local Government acknowledges all the 6 recommendations, and also going to provide our response, the Ministry's response on some of the recommendations that were put forward by the committee. I must also thank Honourable Bala for also covering some of the issues that were raised by the committee. And some of the issues that are actually affecting smaller councils like Tavua. And one of the very important recommendations is a proposal for a landfill. Also going to also requesting for compliance, environmental compliance for the proposed landfill at Koro 1. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to the Cabinet's decision on establishment of a regional waste management facility in the Western Division, the coalition government has adopted a regionalized approach to waste management. This means that individual towns will no longer develop standalone landfill or even dump sites. So instead, the ministry, together with the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, and supported by the technical advisors from the Asian Development Bank and the United Nations, is implementing a comprehensive program that includes first remediation of existing dump sites in Singatoka, Lautoka, Bandagraki, where waste from Tavua is dumped, as well as development of an integrated waste management system, which includes waste sorting at source, transfer stations, and a centralized landfill where only residual waste is disposed. So this represents, Mr. Speaker, a shift from disposal-focused system to a circular, ecosystem-based approach to waste management. A very good recommendation that was recommended by the committee is for the councils to have good coordination with the Fiji Roads Authority. And Mr. Speaker, sir, the ministry is closely working with FRA, or Fiji Roads Authority, on the cabinet submission to transfer responsibility for the repair and maintenance of roads, footpaths, and streetlights back to municipal councils. This reform will enable localized and more responsive service delivery, allow councils to prioritize work based on community needs, and also improve overall efficiency and accountability. As you speak, Mr. Speaker, sir, when there's a complaint against one of these basic services, the ratepayers or residents do complain to the councils, and they don't register their complaint with the body that looks after these various infrastructure. In addition, a revised cost-sharing model is being developed through a memorandum of agreement between the Fiji Roads Authority and municipal councils. This will ensure equitable allocation of resources, greater transparency, and joint planning of maintenance program over a 3 or 5 year period. In Cabinet last month, Mr. Speaker, sir, has approved the sharing of responsibilities and also a memorandum of agreement being signed between the councils and the Fiji Road Authority. And this MOA is expected to be signed before the end of this financial year, and work planned to be effective from the next financial year. On sewerage regulation for Tavua, this is also a major challenge for the town as well as ratepayers and residents of Tavua. Development of this sewerage infrastructure for Tavua is being addressed through the Water Authority of Fiji's Regional Waste Water Master Plan 2024. Under this plan, Tavua will initially be serviced through improved septic systems and the sludging operation supported by a regional fecal sludge treatment facility in Natambua Lotoka, serving Tavua, Ba, and Rakraki up to 2040. And a dedicated sewerage reticulation network and treatment plan for Tavua is planned in the medium to long-term horizon with an indicative investment of approximately $30 million. Progress will be implemented in phases, feasibility and environmental assessment, hopefully from the next financial year, subject to funding. And next stage is on detailed design and land acquisition, and the construction and commissioning over a 3 to 4 year period. And importantly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Water Authority plans to include funding for the feasibility study, the next national budget, demonstrating the government's commitment to advancing this critical infrastructure. On the relocation of market and transport facilities, yes, there is no bus station right now for Tavua, and the Council, in collaboration with the Ministry, relevant stakeholders will undertake feasibility study to identify suitable locations, engage with stakeholders, including vendors, operators, as well as all the stakeholders in Tavua. Other important issues are revenue sustainability, something that is challenging all medium to small size councils, something that the Ministry has been continuously discussing with municipal councils on better ways or innovative ways of broadening the income streams, because it's going to help them not only in the near future but also in the long term. And the government will continue to support all these medium as well as smaller size councils in terms of meeting the sum of the operational budgets as well as the capital budgets in the near future. Mr. Speaker, sir, our Ministry will continue to support small towns like Tavua Town Council, and in the near future, with more funding from government, also going to improve the capital projects that are coming up, as well as some of the issues that they face in the daily operations of the council. And I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity, and I commend and support the motion before the House. No.
Thank you, Honorable Minister for Local Government. I call next to the Honorable Virendra Kutlal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, they say you cannot squeeze blood from a stone, but yet this government seems intent on trying to do exactly that with the Tavua Town Council. We are here today to discuss a report that is less of a financial review and more of a cry for help from a municipality that has been left to fend for itself in the wilderness of bureaucratic neglect, as alluded to by Honorable Bala. Mr. Speaker, sir, when we look at the municipal governance of our smaller towns, we often see a narrative of doing more with less. But in case of Tavua, the report before us today reveals a deeply concerning trend where the less is becoming unsustainable and the more is being hindered by a lack of institutional support and legislative foresight. Firstly, let us look at the financial reality facing our town councils. When the Business Licensing Act was repealed in 2020, the objective was clear: to stimulate economic activity and ease the burden of our struggling MSMEs. It was a move designed to spark growth. However, the report shows that this resulted in a loss of 10% of the council's revenue. The failure here, Mr. Speaker, sir, is not of the reform itself, but in this current administration's failure to provide the promised compensatory support. We were told that there would be a new way forward, yet for years, the council has been left to bleed revenue without the necessary budget adjustments from the central government. It is the height of hypocrisy to demand world-class service delivery while allowing a 10% deficit to become a permanent scar on the council's books. Where is the support? Where is the relief for the ratepayers of Tavua? Mr. Speaker, sir, this report provides that while our municipal leaders are trying to row the boat, the government has taken away the oars and is now wondering why the council is drifting toward a waterfall. This neglect is most evident in the state of Tavua's infrastructure. It is a national embarrassment that in 2026, a primary municipality in the Western Division still operates with no sewerage system. The report highlights wastewater and sewage leaking into the environment near Tavua Levu village. This is not just an infrastructure gap, it is a failure of the national government to provide the basic dignity of sanitation to its citizens. The council cannot build a national-scale reticulation system on its own. It requires a government that prioritizes public health over photo opportunities. Furthermore, we see the council's frustration with the Fiji Roads Authority. This report tells us that Tavua feels invisible when road markings fade and drains overflow. The council is the one that hears the anger of the ratepayers. But it is the FRA that holds the budget and the power. This centralized neglect must end. If the government plans to delegate more functions to the council, they must also delegate the funds to the qualified personnel to manage them. Mr. Speaker, sir, look at the irony in how the government handles environmental assessments. We have seen massive controversial development projects with environmental impact assessments that have this entire nation up in arms. And yet, somehow those EIAs seem to fly through the system with lightning speed. But when it comes to a simple, essential landfill project for the people of Tavua at Corridor Number 1, the process suddenly stalls. The waste piles up near the paperwork crowds. Why is it that the express lane is open for high-profile interests, but our town councils are stuck in a bureaucratic roadblock for years? Mr. Speaker, sir, there was this understanding between the Tavua Town Council and Rakiraki Town Council to have a common dump site. Because the dump site at Naria for Rakiraki Town Council is very close to a primary school. I have been to this Naria Bharatiya school, and I've seen the flies in the school premises and the compound. And not that, sir, when there is a fire at the dump site, the smoke is all around in the compound, and the classes are disrupted. And we have also held talks with the residents there, and we have been informed that people are not able to eat outside in their compounds because of the flies. So I'm requesting the authorities to please look into this issue and close down the dump site at Naria for the benefit of the school students of Nadia Bharatiya School and the teachers teaching there, as well as the residents living in that area. In closing, we support this report because it speaks the truth. We commend the council's staff, particularly the women who make up 75% of the finance department, for keeping the gears turning under immense pressure. But they deserve more than just a thank you in a parliamentary paper. They deserve a government that treats Tavua as a priority, provides the necessary grants to fill the revenue gaps, and finally brings the town's infrastructure into the 21st century. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you, the Honorable Virendra Lal. Last speaker is the Honorable Professor Biman Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tavua is a small town. In the weekend, on Saturday, I joined the Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Bala for this magnificent opening of a very magnificent temple. I think it is not just a place of worship, it is an infrastructure that is going to change the landscape of Tavua town. It's going to be good for the economy, it will be good for people traveling around Ba, Tavua, Reki, to make a visit to that very, very beautiful, magnificent temple built by a number of very committed people. Mr. Speaker, the other point that I want to make, Tavua is a small town made up of 2,800 people. It obviously would have challenges with respect to the demand for infrastructure and the funding for that infrastructure. But more important, Mr. Speaker, with respect to how towns and cities develop is the economy within those areas and how and what is done. It is this government, Mr. Speaker, that after 33 years was able to resolve the longest strike in the country. We allocated about $9.2 million in 2004. I think it restored a lot of confidence in the economy of Tavua. I had, Mr. Speaker, it's very easy these days, the students from the University of the South Pacific would vouch for it. It's very easy to now write beautiful speeches, using ChatGPT or AI. But sometimes in the process, you become overzealous and say things that are so exaggerated. And I think Honorable Virendra Lal probably was exaggerating some of the things that he said. The government, Mr. Speaker, has a number of initiatives in the last 3 years, and the members of the opposition would know from the budget scrutiny that they have done in the last 3 budgets that we have allocated about $3.2 million in the last budget for waste collection subsidy. It's a very important point, and the Honourable Minister alluded to that. There is $2.5 million provided for the Western Division dump site remediation. Again, that's government's contribution towards this. There is an allocation for special administrators in the 2025-2026 budget, which caters for the payment of salaries of small municipal councils who cannot cater for the administrator's salary. So these are examples, contrary to what Honorable Virendra Lal was saying, that government is not contributing or is not concerned about small towns. A sum of 975,000, Mr. Speaker, also budgeted in the 2025-2026 financial year from which about 20,000 is directed towards Tavua Town Council. So these are examples that I wanted to give to say that government is subsidizing already some of these municipal councils, and the Honorable Kamkamida will probably tell you when he speaks in the next motion, you know, the issues about arrears. And we've talked about this in Parliament before when we looked at the previous budgets. Approximately $71.1 million as of February 2026 is owed in arrears, rate arrears. And I think more than 80,000 is owed to Tavua Town Council. And Mr. Speaker, this is a town which has only slightly over 300, if I correct, Honorable Minister, roughly over 300 ratepayers. And that means that it's very difficult for these smaller town councils to ensure that they are able to collect the revenue that they need. The infrastructure costs have been on the rise. So part of the blame, Honorable Lal and Honorable Bala, would be on the previous government in terms of managing the priorities and the allocation of resources for infrastructure in small towns as compared to the bigger ones. So I think it is important to make this point that towns and city councils, especially the smaller ones, can only function with government subsidy, because, as I said, the threshold on ratepayers and the level of income is very, very thin. The other point that the honourable members from the opposition forget, that some of the boundaries were extended to include the rural local authority. So in the previous system, the local rural authority was under a different ministry. The town councils, the town administrators were squarely focused on what they ought to have done within the town and city boundaries, especially for the smaller ones. So when that was changed, they also had to cater for the rural local authority. And if they were not able to raise more revenue and the government was not providing additional support, then obviously they would find that they have infrastructure deficit. So I think the committee is right to note the challenges of small towns, but I think the committee also ought to have looked at why we are at this point in time facing those challenges, because it's not something that just happened overnight. You know, it's been a culmination of something that has been accumulating, over the last, decade or so. With those comments, Mr. Speaker, I support the report. Thank you.
Thank the Honourable Professor Biman Prasad. I will now call on the Honourable Vanawalu, Chairperson of the Standing Committee, to speak in reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Social Affairs Committee noted the positive, likewise the negative contribution by honourable members during this debate on the review report of 2019 Tavua Town Council Annual Report. Mr. Speaker, sir, I take this opportunity to thank the Special Administrator, the Chief Executive Officer, and the staff of Tavua Town Council for their dedicated commitments and unwavering support, which have been instrumental to the successful operation of the Council. Mr. Speaker, sir, I humbly request Tavua Town Council for their successful implementation of the recommendation put forward by the Standing Committee on Social Affairs. On that note, so I support the motion before the House, and I thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
Thank you. The Parliament will now vote to note the content of the report. Does any member oppose the motion? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. The last motion, I will call upon the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, the Honorable Ilyas Banawalu, to move his third and final motion today.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that Parliament debates the review report on the 2018 Labasa Town Council annual report. It was tabled on 27 November 2025.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Mr. Speaker, sir, back to second.
Thank you, Honorable Praveen Bala. I will now invite the Honorable Banawalu to speak on his motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the 1939 Labasa Town Council was incorporated under the Township Ordinance. The Local Government Act was enacted in 1972, hence the Labasa Town was elevated to township status in June 1972. During the period in review, Labasa Town Council served an estimated population of 27,949 in Labasa urban and peri-urban areas. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee on its deliberation highlighted the following recommendation. First, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that the Labasa Town Council ensure a timely collection of market stall fees and property rental income to prevent recurring arrears. Secondly, the committee recommends that the Labasa Town Council take legal action through court proceeding to recover the rates in arrears from defaulting ratepayers. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that the Labasa Town Council must continue negotiation with landowners to secure a land for the new stadium. Finally, the committee recommends that the Labasa Town Council must immediately conduct its own investigation into the construction of 2 jetties along Labasa River. The committee, in conclusion, note that Labasa Town Council faced significant challenges in its infrastructure development, revenue generation, township expansion, and relocation of its parks for recreational activities. Hence, the government of Fiji must provide vital support toward the sustainable development in Labasa municipality. On that note, sir, I thank you for the opportunity.
I thank the chair. Honorable members, the floor is now open for debate on the motion. I have a list of 4 speakers with me, each with 7 minutes. I first invite the Honorable Hemchan to speak on the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I rise to contribute to the debate on the review report of the 2018 Labasa Town Council annual report. At the outset, I acknowledge the work of the Standing Committee and the efforts of Labasa Town Council in maintaining service delivery under difficult fiscal constraints. However, this report also exposes systemic issues that continue to impede the progress. Mr. Speaker, sir, let us turn to a matter that directly affects the daily lives of our people, that is traffic congestion and road infrastructure in Labasa. The town is expanding, yet the supporting infrastructure has not kept pace. There is increasing congestion along the main corridor and a glaring absence of traffic lights to regulate flow during peak hours. Mr. Speaker, sir, the quality of roads, drainage systems, and pedestrian access remains inconsistent. These are not minor inconveniences. They reflect deeper issues in planning, coordination, and execution. Mr. Speaker, sir, recently many issues, including traffic congestion by ratepayers, it was raised. The Council should be proactive and responsive to issues raised by the ratepayers. Councils must take their function and responsibilities seriously and deliver as expected. Town councils in Fiji are responsible for maintaining and improving the quality of services and infrastructure within the town boundary. Mr. Speaker, sir, safety infrastructure is being neglected. Basic requests for road markings and signage are sidelined, despite being routine maintenance matters. There is also a clear coordination gap with no structured mechanisms between FRA and the council, leaving the council unable to act on drainage, roads, and safety issues without FRA engagement. At the same time, key development initiatives such as the relocation of Subrail Park continue to drag on without clear timelines, raising broader concerns about how we plan for Lambasa's future growth. Mr. Speaker, at the end of the day, an investor or a homeowner in Labasa wants to know one thing: is my town moving forward? When $2 million in rate arrears remains unrecovered and basic road safety projects are static, the answer is not fast enough. Mr. Speaker, what is required now is practical action. There must be a formal and enforceable coordination between the Fiji Roads Authority and municipal council so that routine infrastructure works are not unnecessarily delayed. At the same time, government must address the clear revenue gap created by the removal of business license fees by putting forward a workable alternative funding model. Equally important, we must ensure that administrative oversight such as delays in tabling audited financial reports are not repeated, because transparency and accountability are fundamental to public confidence. Mr. Speaker, I have seen one of the recommendations by the committee, and the committee's recommendation is that Labasa Town Council immediately conduct its own investigation into the construction of 2 jetties along Labasa River. Mr. Speaker, I hope the Honourable Minister is aware of this, and I hope Honourable Minister will bring the report and table the investigation report that is carried out by Labasa Town Council. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
I thank the Honourable Chan for his contribution. Honourable members, we have 3 more speakers, and given the lateness of the hour, although I would not like to test time on the speakers in there, I would now wish to continue with the list until its completion, unless there is a violent objection from the floor. Thank you. Then, in keeping with the standing orders, I will now invite the Leader of the Government in Parliament, the Honourable Rofili Putaswal, to move a suspension motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move under Standing Order 6 that so much of Standing Order 23.1 is suspended so as to allow the House to sit beyond 4:30 p.m. today to complete the remaining items listed.
Thank you. I say seconded.
Honourable Speaker, I second the motion.
Thank you, Honourable Bainivalu. I now call on the Leader of the Government to speak on his motion.
Thank you. We need to complete the discussions on Labasa, even though it's in the year 2018. The other side has jumped to 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any contribution from the floor? I see none. Leader of the Government,
not have any further comments.
Thank you. The Parliament will now vote. Question is that under Standing Order 6, that so much as Standing Order 23 Clause 1 is suspended so as to allow the House to sit beyond 4:30 p.m. today to complete the remaining items listed on today's order paper. Does any member oppose the motion? Here none, as no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. I move on to the list of speakers. I now invite the Honourable Minister for Local Government, the Honourable Nalumisa, for his contribution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to contribute to the debate for the August House on the review report of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs on the 2018 annual report of the Labasa Town Council. That said, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to thank the committee, the chairman and the committee members for its work, as well as acknowledge some of the very the 7 recommendations that we include in our report. Even though it's an old report, Mr. Speaker, sir, a few lessons that can be learned from this report. Listening to the comments by the previous speaker, Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the issues that kept on rising is on the issue of business license, something that is also affecting the financial sustainability of some of these councils, especially the medium, the smaller size councils. The question that can be asked is who's responsible for removal of these business licenses? Now, this was done by the previous administration. Now we are reviewing to restore that because it's actually affecting the revenue stream of these, especially the medium size as well as smaller size councils. Another issue that was raised by the committee is on the arrears position on the rates by the ratepayers, the Labasa Town Council. Of course, one thing that comes out positive about this report in terms of rates collection is the current collection is very efficient. It's hovers around 80%, but the only challenge is trying to recover outstanding town rates. And it's something that the council has been doing for the past years. They've been doing ratepayers profiling, be able to understand the ratepayers as well different various type of rates, be able to come up with a more practical strategies to try and recover arrears from ratepayers. An issue that happens across all municipalities. But one thing that we have done is that when we came into power, we have amended the interest methodology, especially interest on arrears, from compound interest rate to simple interest rate. We've also reduced the interest rate from 11% to 5%. So in a way, it also helps some of the ratepayers in coming on board and also pay some of the defaulting or rates arrears that has been there for quite some time in the system. And another recommendation is an area where they can also have another suitable playing field, because right now, as we speak, the suitable park is not really up to international standard. So for Labasa Town to attract overseas teams, to have international teams to come and play on the turf, they need to have an international size stadium. So now they're looking for places, for areas where they can have a good ground, a facility, a sporting facility that can attract overseas teams and also have more overseas tournaments for that particular, for the ground. And there's also issue of traffic congestion in Labasa. Yes, it's not only been created by this government, it has been there for quite some time. So now we're so thankful that with the Nabuliku program on board, we'll be able to address some issues, major issues, infrastructural issues that we have in Labasa. And with the program, be able to, in a way, assist the flow of traffic as well as other basic infrastructure that are needed right now in Labasa. So hopefully with that master plan, that is part of the Nabuliku program, that is going to help Labasa, which is the hub of Unolevu. It's also going to create more opportunities and also create a space, community that is livable, and also community or a town that where people of Labasa, as well as commuters, those that use Labasa as a meeting point or place where they change the buses or change the transport to be a place where they'll also want to go and visit, not only as well as live. And the issue on this unauthorized approval of 2 jetties was something that's an issue that the minister also taking seriously. It's also before the courts right now. And we can only comment this once the court cases are finalized for these two development jetties that were developed and that were approved. And in every small size council, Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the issues that challenge that always face is the issue of finance, issue of funding. But the government will continue to subsidize the collection of solid waste, especially for areas that also been served by the Labasa Council, known as the delegated areas. So, especially there's some other areas that are closer to the Labasa town. And that means we will continue. One of the recommendation is for the council to present as well as for the reports on an annual basis, something that we also trying to do this internally. We have an audit monitoring team that is now visiting all the municipalities and also assisting the municipalities in the preparation of their financial statements. So on that, Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for the opportunity and I support the motion before the House. Nobele.
Thank you, the Honorable Nalumisa. I give the floor now to the Honorable Maharaj. You have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand today in this August House to contribute on this very important town council, which is very close to my house, close to my heart, as I come from Labasa. Honorable Speaker, a lot has been alluded to about town councils, the issues that they are facing, what's happening in terms of administration. I was in Labasa a couple of months ago, and one thing after talking to business owners that I realized one of the major issues in Labasa town is some of the special administrators and some of the ministers, they think they own Labasa town. I'll be honest about this. The problem is when any investor wants to invest that is in conflict with these people, there's lots of obstructions. And I'll give a typical example. A hotel that is being done at Judges on the park. Even after the Supreme Court ruling that Mr. Vinesh Dayal has the right to do the building, the project that he wanted to do with $10 million project, along with the landowners who are stakeholders and the shareholders in that particular project, town council served them notice to stop work. This is not honorable, Speaker. The chambers of commerce, the ratepayers, the business owners are asking ministers, especially.
Point of order from the Honorable Minister for Housing.
Section 60 on
Yes.
irrelevance.
Relevance?
We should be debating on the 2018 annual report, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yeah, you are updating, I think, the dates of this report is beyond, is further back. Eh? Yes, Honorable Tavua.
Just under 62(1), the member is also imputing improper motive of another member in the House, seeming to impute improper motive by a minister, current minister or ministers, being illegally or perhaps interfering in the workings of Labasa Town Council. If he has proof, he needs to show it and go through the proper process, making a complaint. But to raise that in the House of an improper motive of a minister is against the standing orders. That's a prohibited reference, Honourable Speaker. And he should withdraw.
Right, yeah, I know where she's coming from. Specific, the provision says that you cannot impute any bad intentions on anyone that you're speaking about, unless you can prove conclusively that this is the case. You're referring generally to those, I think, if I'm reading it correctly, those, I think the minister was saying, that you're saying feel that they own the town, correct? And that it needs further elaboration. If in fact you were going that way, I think it would not be in order for you to continue in a general fashion as that you're making. Honorable Maharaj, carry on.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on that note, can I actually urge on behalf of the ratepayers of Labasa Town, if the Minister of Local Government can go and have a public consultation with them so that they can actually inform the Minister the issues ratepayers are facing in Labasa in terms of the administrators. So I leave it to the Honorable Minister for the public consultation to take place in Labasa. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, another issue that was actually raised, and I actually commend the committee, though it's a very old report, but if you actually read the recommendations, most of the recommendations are based on the recent issues that are being faced by the council or the ratepayers. So, very proactive approach from the committee, and I thank them for that, Honorable Speaker. But one of the issues that was actually raised even when Public Accounts Committee went to Labasa Town Council was garbage collection. Now, we actually, when we talk about Vitilevu, we talk about boundaries. The boundaries of almost all the towns and cities have increased. Unfortunately, if you are actually looking at Labasa Town Council, Honorable Speaker, there is only 2 stages away. There's places like Siberia Branch Road, Golf Rink Road, Baigan Banwa, Basonga, Bunivau, and Bunleka. I can give stats, Honorable Speaker. Bunleka with 1,050 households, 4,500 population. Siberia with 650 households, 2,790 population. Bunivau 580 households, 2,490 population. Basonga with 320 households, 1,370 population. And Baigan Banwa with 210 households with almost 1,000 population. Government is subsidizing Labasa Town Council. And these areas, they fall within the perimeters of just 3 kilometers. Still, Labasa Town Council is not collecting the garbage. These are heavily and densely populated areas. They don't have places to throw rubbish. I'm not too sure why Labasa Town Council, even after a lot of concern has been raised with regards to this, Labasa Town Council is sitting silent, doing basically nothing. They are traveling all the way from Labasa to Senganga, which is 36 kilometers, Labasa to Reketi, which is 71 kilometers, to collect the rubbish from commercial areas, but this close to around 2,000 households, which are within the perimeters or radius of 2 kilometers, they are not collecting the garbage. So I again ask Minister for Local Government if he can actually look into this, and since government is subsidizing garbage collection, I think it's prudent for us and very essential for the minister to put Labasa Town Council on notice that they need to collect garbage in these areas, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, another one was bypass road that was promised to be built in Labasa. I still recall after 2022 general election, there was a prominent politician from Labasa who was standing by the railway telling that this is the place where we are going to do the bypass road for the people of Labasa. Finally, it's going to be done. Little did he realize that at a point in time, he was standing on the property of FSC. And FSC till to date has never allowed that bypass road to be built, and people are still waiting. A promise that needs to be fulfilled if we want to have traffic congestion is in Labasa, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the other one is overcrowding of taxi bases in Labasa. Taxi owners are crying that though it has been passed in Parliament, nobody is doing anything of asking the taxis to return to their original bases. They are still clogging bases in Labasa, taxi bases in Labasa, which is increasing the traffic. People are being charged. Fee has actually gone up. Infringement notice has been gone up if taxis are found parked somewhere else. But we don't have enough taxi bases in Labasa town to cater for more than 500 taxis that are actually operating in Labasa. So this is also very important, Honorable Speaker. Well, you are in the government, please resolve it. Anybody must have caused it, but it's now your responsibility to resolve it. So please, get it resolved. Honorable Speaker, we also need to do the dredging of Labasa River. It's very important. Clogged drains and culverts are causing flash flooding. I think it's long overdue that Labasa River needs to be dredged. And my last question to Minister for Local Government is if he can name the owners of the 2 jetties. This will very much clarify what I was actually coming to in the first place. I do realize it's before the court, he might not be able to, but once he does, people would be aware of what I was talking about in terms of ownership of Labasa town. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And thank the Honorable Maharaj. Thank you. I invite the Honorable Professor Biman Prasad.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I fully understand the connection that Honorable Hemchand has with Labasa and, of course, Honorable Maharaj. But let me just point out, there is always a prize for progress. If you look at, the number of cars, the number of taxis, the number of buses, the number of businesses, around Suba, around Nandi, that have sprung up in the last 10 years. Obviously, there is always demand for additional infrastructure. But one thing, Mr. Speaker, said that the honourable members must also point out that Labasa and indeed Banua Levu is actually booming now. So apart from all the stories that people tell you, congestion in Labasa town, the need for bypass road, and this is a government that has taken that on board, and as the Minister highlighted, that is now being done. The town, Mr. Speaker, says supports a significant rural hinterland, and it's actually the hub of Banua Levu in terms of facilitating trade. Honourable Leader of the Opposition, having been the Commissioner Northern of Labasa, knows that time the economic activity and comparing that, 10, 15 years ago to what it is now is quite significant. The tourism development project, the Banua Levu Tourism Development Project, and Deputy Prime Minister Gavoka has highlighted this a number of times. That is also, Mr. Speaker, providing additional economic activities, additional pressures on infrastructure, the upgrade of the Labasa airport, the Sabu-Labasa link road project. This is about 95 kilometers of route linking Labasa and Sabu. So these are programs or activities that are taking place in Labasa. As we discussed with respect to Tavua town, Mr. Speaker, Labasa town is much bigger. In fact, there are about 1,200 ratepayers. And the business sentiment, Honorable Maharaj, as opposed to the issues that you've highlighted, and I hope that the Honorable Minister will look at it, is quite strong, and the issue of rate arrears, Labasa Town Council also is owed, I think, more than $2 million in arrears. So there are those very similar challenges. But I think we have to understand as members of parliament and members of both government and the opposition that we need to look at a revenue stream. I mean, COVID measure was fine. You remove the business licenses. But the previous government should have, in 2022, restored them. Crisis demands that you put temporary measures. It's just like the rent control, the rent freeze. They put a rent freeze, Mr. Speaker, on residential rents in 2007. And now, over the years, it has had a perverse impact. It is very relevant because you're talking about infrastructure within the town boundaries. And I'm saying that when you put up a measure, a crisis measure, Mr. Speaker, it's supposed to be always temporary. So business license that was removed must or should have been a temporary measure. Similarly, the rent control or rent freeze should have been a temporary measure. So now, if this government says, all right, the report is recommending that we should bring back the business licenses, these are the same people sitting on the other side, Mr. Speaker, will go and say, look, government has put brought back, business licenses now. No, but that's what you will do. You go around spreading misinformation on policies that make sense, that needs to be done. And I think none of you have said from the other side, although some of you are part of the committee, none of you have said that we should bring back business license. Why can't you say that in Parliament? Say that. Say that in your contributions, so that the people out there can understand and know exactly what the Parliament wants. So, Mr. Speaker, it is important that we look at these issues in a very sensible way. That small town councils will always have infrastructure challenges, and especially a town like Labasa, where the population is actually increasing in some ways. More developments are taking place. There's more demand for waste collection, more demand for infrastructure within the town, and town councils or administrators can't do anything. They'll have to keep relying on government funding, but they also need to have some revenue sources so that they should be able to do that. So what I'm saying is, you should have the courage from the opposition to say, yes, this time is over, bring this back. Let's do that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, honourable members. I have a late addition to the list in Honourable Kamkamida. I will invite him to take the floor, but he has only 5 minutes for his contribution.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and thank you for the opportunity to contribute briefly on the Town Council reports. And of course, like the Honourable Leader of Government Business said, he zeroed in on the fact that the report is 2018, sir. And I know I have spoken at some length here on that, the relevance, or why are we discussing so aged reports in this House. And perhaps for the benefit of the university graduates here, here's a very simple solution, thing to think about as you become adults. If it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. I'll repeat that again, Honourable Speaker. If it ain't broke, do not try and fix it. Honourable Speaker, in 2009, the other side of the House, or most of them, or some of them, decided to destroy the structures of the Town Council. No more council elections, no more town councillors, therefore no accountability in the running of those councils. And then what happened after that? All the experienced people that were in those town councils, sir, got removed progressively. So over time, the town councils all over Fiji, not only the Labasa Town Council, became shadows of their former self, Honourable Speaker. And so, Honourable Speaker, as a result of that, we now have a situation where reports are dated, and it is something that the other side of the House will have to inherit as a legacy as part of the running of government, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, as a result of that, I believe all the necessary controls that are required in a town council, basic things like collection of rates, became neglected. If you look across all the town councils in Fiji, without exception, the rates are excessively high in terms of arrears. And so, Honourable Speaker, like I said, Honourable Speaker, sir, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. Honourable Speaker, in terms of the report on the Labasa Town Council, certainly, I do support the issues raised in the report, and support the need for continued examination of areas that require infrastructure improvement. But let me just say, Honourable Speaker, and before I sit down, that this side of the House will fix the aging accounts problem. The committees of the public accounts, working in tandem with the Honorable Minister, are trying to put in place measures so that we ensure that when these younger members visiting today come to this House, they will no longer have to discuss reports in 7 years or over. They'll be discussing current information, Honorable Speaker. So there is a concerted effort, Honorable Speaker, to fix the issues. I am quite confident that when the reports do come to the House, you will discover the catch-up that has taken place. You even have town councils like Raki, Honorable Speaker, that right now are actually current in terms of their accounts. And so, Honorable Speaker, once again, we are cleaning up the mess from this side of the House. And the dated reports that we are now seeing and getting tired of, Honorable Speaker, will become a thing of the past. Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank the Honorable Kamikamida. I will now invite the Honorable Banawalu, the Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Social Affairs, to exercise his right of reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The committee noted the constructive, likewise as destructive contribution by the honorable members during the debate on this review report, the 2018 Labasa Town Council. Mr. Speaker, sir, I take this opportunity to thank the Special Administrator, the Acting Chief Executive Officer, and the staff of Labasa Town Council for their commitments, dedication, and unwavering support, which have been instrumental to successfully running the operation of Labasa Town Council. On that note, sir, I support the motion before the House. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Parliament will now vote to note the content of the report. Does any member oppose the motion? No member opposes the motion. Is agreed to unanimously. Honourable members, that brings us to the end of today's sitting. I thank you all for your contributions today, and Parliament will now adjourn until tomorrow at 9:30 a.m.